Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Chicago Scholars Virtual College Fair. I'd like to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Just a few housekeeping items before we do get started. There's a Q&A button located at the bottom of your screen, which you can use to ask questions to our presenters at any time. If you do have a question for a specific college, be sure to mention them within your question. Your camera and microphone are turned off so the panelists cannot see or hear you. And this is one of many sessions happening over the next 3 hours. So after this, definitely go out there and check out what else is there to offer. And finally, this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website where you registered. Now, without further ado, I'll turn it over to our first institution, which is Illinois College.
Good evening, students and family members. Welcome. I'm John Tomaso. I'm with Illinois College. And first, we're really glad you're with us tonight. I know you're in the midst of summertime and taking a little break from school, but you know what? The fall will be here before you know it. So just a little bit about myself. I had worked here in Chicagoland for college for about 34 years and more recently served as their director of freshman admission, but left about a year ago and joined the staff at Illinois College. Illinois College is in Jacksonville, so we're about 3.5 hours south of Chicago. I'm based up here in Chicago, and I tell you guys, for me, it was just a nice kind of breath of fresh air. I grew up around Chicago my whole life. I lived here, but going down to the campus, it's quiet, it's safe, it's a really beautiful neighborhood, it's a cool town, kind of old historic town, lots of ties to Abraham Lincoln. So it's a nice little break from Chicagoland. You're far enough away, yet you're not that far, 3.5 hours. So I'm going to share my screen and show you folks a little presentation about my school, which will just take a few minutes. So without further ado, again, a warm welcome to all of you. We talk a lot about being graduate ready, and that means no matter what you do when you leave us at Illinois College, you'll leave well prepared, whether you're going out looking for a job, whether you're going on to professional school, meaning med school, law school, whether you're going out looking for a job, you'll be well prepared for not just your first job, but a life of adapting, learning, and because things will change, and you need to be adaptable and versatile as you go through your life. And so that is really what we're all about, is being graduate ready at Illinois College. Our campus, as I mentioned, is in Jacksonville. So if you guys look at the out at the horizon, you'll see we're kind of out in the middle of the cornfields, but in a really kind of nice old historic town, Jacksonville. It's got a beautiful old, kind of traditional town square with the courthouse, old historic buildings. Today, most of those buildings are restaurants and bars and coffee houses. The campus is in a really beautiful neighborhood. It's on kind of a gradual hill. We call ourselves the Hilltop. We are the first college in the state of Illinois to confer a college degree back in 1829. So we've been around for a long time. And the campus has those old historic buildings as well as new buildings, new renovation, new technology at the same time. So really a beautiful campus, both old and new at the same time. Lots of things to study. We've got about 45 different academic programs. Today, popular majors are things like education, our business program, psychology, our engineering program, the sciences like pre-medicine. The #1 major for us these days is actually nursing. So lots of things to study. If you're sitting there looking at the screen thinking, great, I've got no idea what I want to study, not to worry. Most students aren't sure about their major when they first start college. You'll have time and you're going to have some support that'll help you figuring out what might be the right program for you. So don't be too stressed about that. We think you learn both in the classroom as well as outside the classroom. So we call this learning in action. Internships, your ability to go work part-time in your field, to get experience, but to meet people, make connections, and really kind of test drive your career is really essential for you. We have research opportunities. Now, we're an only undergrad college. We're about 1,150 students. We're a small school, but only undergraduates, no grad students. And so our undergrad students have a lot of opportunity to do their own research. At a lot of college campuses, you won't do research until you get to graduate school. So we're all about undergrad research. We do a lot of domestic and also international travel. Our domestic trips we call breakaway trips, and we also have study abroad trips, which are overseas. And we actually give every student a $1,000 grant to help cover your expense if you do a breakaway or an overseas trip. So that's kind of a nice way to learn outside our area. And also involvement in our community and on our campus. We do a lot of service learning in our local community, and there are about 45 different things to be involved in on our campus. So we have some fun, but also develop leadership skills and meet new people along the way. So being involved outside the classroom is really important. We guarantee that you'll finish in 4 years, meaning if you start at our school at Illinois College and for whatever reason you don't finish after 8 semesters, we will cover your price tag, your tuition, for the remaining time until you graduate. So we guarantee 4 years of graduation, or the expense is on us, which is kind of unusual. It's kind of neat. We also include our textbooks in your price tag. Most colleges you'll be paying extra, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 per year just for the textbooks. But at Illinois College, those are included in your price. Lots of people are saying good things about us. Third-party endorsements, whether it's Money Magazine, U.S. News World Report, Forbes, Washington Monthly. So we're getting some really, really great feedback from third parties. And we're really generous when it comes to scholarships and financial aid. We give out some automatic scholarships. So when you apply, and those are different ways you can apply, our own app, the Common App, the Coalition application as well. You send us your transcript. We are test optional, and automatically you'll receive a scholarship from us, anywhere from $12,000 to $24,000 per year in scholarship money right from us. So lots of things that we offer. One is called the Ready for Success Scholarship. If you file a FAFSA, and also if you visit our campus, whether virtually or in person. If anyone is with us tonight who's unable to fill out a FAFSA and you are a dreamer, we do have a partnership. We're the only school outside of Chicago in our state which has a partnership with the Dream US Scholarship Foundation. A really great opportunity for those students unable to file a FAFSA. There's our price tag. It's not inexpensive, but it's all about what your net cost will be, okay? So again, scholarships and financial aid can really help make us affordable. There's my information. I'll be around as well as my colleague, Frankie. Thank you, Frankie. Any questions, we're here, so let us know. Thanks.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Illinois College. Up next, we have Davidson College.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Happy to be here with you all. My name is Marlene Ariano. I am one of our Senior Assistant Deans of Admission here at Davidson College, which is just outside of Charlotte in North Carolina. I'm excited to be here with you all. I'm from Chicago and a Chicago scholar myself, so this is always a fun crowd to be able to talk to. But as we kind of think about Davidson College, to start off with, right, I think it's important to get a sense of where we are and the kinds of opportunities that afford students. So similar to Illinois College, we are also a institution that only focuses on undergraduate students. And so we have 2,000 students on our campus. We're residential, so most students live on campus all 4 years. And as I mentioned, we're just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So sort of this suburban, larger metropolitan area right next to a lake. And so students do have access to what we call Lake Campus for just fun recreational space. But one of the things to note about Davidson is that as a small liberal arts college, we're definitely a place where community and people are going to be very important to who we are. And you're going to see that reflected not just in the classroom, not just outside of the classroom, but also thinking about the sort of support system that you can expect to find beyond our campus in the town of Davidson. I would say that a lot of students at Davidson, regardless of where they ultimately end up academically, have an interest in service. And so you see a lot of connection between our students and the town of Davidson through service involvements or local internships or volunteering opportunities. And so that's kind of important to as a baseline of where Davidson is. But as you think about academics, right, I'm going to take a guess and say some of you all, maybe you do know what you want to study in college. You know you're interested in chemistry, pre-medicine, history, political science. Others of you, I'm going to guess, you're maybe not that sure, or you have an idea of where you have no idea where to start. One of the really great things about Davidson and other liberal arts colleges is that our larger philosophy is to meet you where you are, right? If you're that student that says, I have an idea of what I'm interested in studying, we're going to say, great. Don't make that official just yet. Take some time to explore those departments, meet those professors, figure out who you want to be your major advisor. And if you're a student who isn't quite so sure, or maybe you have a lot of interests, then a liberal arts education is really going to allow you to kind of explore all of those interests. And so every student at Davidson has technically until the end of their second year to officially declare a major, which means, again, there's plenty of time for you to explore and to really, get to try classes and departments that maybe you've never had access to in high school. And so that's, I think, something that really works to the benefit of our students. The other thing that is going to be true of all of our students' experience on campus is going to be the access to funding for research, right? That as a place that focuses exclusively on undergraduate study, we are a place where our professors have chosen to work at Davidson because they want to work with their students directly, right? They want to make sure that they're supporting your efforts from the very beginning, and that you're not having to wait until you're a junior or senior in college to start thinking about research. And also knowing that research extends beyond the natural sciences. Certainly, if you're a student who's interested in the natural sciences, you're of course going to find research opportunities, but also if you're a student who's into the arts or the humanities or social sciences, you're also going to find ways in which research happens in those areas. The one thing on the academic side that I would say is probably one of the core tenets of who Davidson is our honor code. We are not the only place out there with an honor code, but we are a place where it functions in some pretty neat ways. So our honor code is simple. It basically says, I will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate anyone who does. And every student abides by that, right? And because of that, you are given a lot of trust as a Davidson student from your professors and from your peers. And that means we don't have any proctored exams on campus. So you're going to get to set the testing environment that you think works best for you. We have, for final exams, you kind of set the order that you take them in. And then on the day-to-day side of living on a campus with an honor code, it means that really you can walk into any space on campus and you're likely to see people's belongings out and about, and they can trust that those things will remain there. Even if they walk away for a few minutes, a few hours, a few days, and so on. And so the honor code, I would say, is a really important part of our students' lives. I had mentioned that we were a residential campus, so that most students live on our campus all 4 years. And that means there has to be a big investment into what happens when you're not in the classroom, right? And so one of the ways in which I think a lot of our students kind of plug into the larger community is through athletics. We are one of the smallest Division I school for athletics. And so whether you're someone who loves sports or someone who has zero interest, at a place like Davidson, where about a quarter of our students are Division I athletes, you are going to run into, and they're going to be your friends, right? So it, I think, adds special element to team spirit whenever you're at any athletic event on campus. The other thing that I will sort of say relating to student life is that I know sometimes I meet with students who will say, Davidson's half the size of my high school, right? How do we kind of adjust and think about size? Again, because you're in a community where you're no longer in class for, 8 hours a day, you might only be in class for a couple. There's a big investment into what happens outside of the classroom, and that you can see reflected in student organizations and many other ways in which we try to kind of plug you into the local community. So that was a very quick overview of Davidson, but I hope that you all remain interested, and I'm gonna, in the chat, I will drop 2 things. One, my email address so that you all are welcome to reach out with any questions. And then also a link to a program that we offer called Access Davidson, which in a typical year would have been our fly-in program. We are hosting that virtually again for the 2nd time. We had great success with it. So I do encourage you to consider applying. And this upcoming Monday at 6 p.m. your time, we'll be hosting a quick 30-minute information session, but I'll drop all that information and hope to answer any questions you may have later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Davidson. Up next, we have Emory University.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here. Wish we were in Chicago in person so I could be having some deep dish pizza. However, we are here and I want to provide as much information for you about Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. So let me just share my screen here. Emory is located in Atlanta, Georgia. We're about 15 minutes outside of downtown Atlanta. So you can see Atlanta is not too far. We are in more of a kind of residential neighborhood outside of the city. But for those of you who want to access the city and all that the city has to offer, there's definitely that opportunity. One of the unique things about Emory is we actually have two undergraduate campuses. So we have Emory College and we have Oxford College. So the total university, we are made up of a medical school, a law school, a school a graduate school, a school of public health, a business school, a nursing school, uh, a medical, and then also Emory College and Oxford College. So the total college is made up of about 10,000 students. But when you think about your undergraduate experience, we have Emory College, which is going to be 5,500 students, which is a campus that you just saw not too far from Atlanta. And then we have our historic campus where Emory was founded in 1836, Oxford College, which is, as you can see, roughly about 38 miles outside the city, and that has 1,000 students. So as you're thinking about what you want your experience to be as you begin your Emory education, you're really thinking about size and location. Do I want to start in a smaller location for the first 2 years of my college career, or do I want to spend all 4 on the larger campus, on the Atlanta campus that has 5,500 students? So, if you do decide to begin at Oxford, you'll spend your first 2 years there and automatically transition to the Atlanta campus. So everybody is going to finish at the Atlanta campus. And just so you know, we have 80 different majors to choose from. As my colleagues have stated, you do not have to know what you want to do as you prepare for college. When you get to college, you have your first 2 years, explore the curriculum, think about what it is that you would like to do as you kind of begin your college career. One of the things that I think really sets Emory apart, no matter if you start at the Emory College or the Oxford College campus, is the city of Atlanta and all Atlanta has to offer. And similar to Chicago, Atlanta is a very large metropolitan city. And so, for the students who are particularly interested in internships, there are several Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 100 companies like Delta, Coca-Cola, UPS, also Porsche opened up their North American headquarters here, as did Mercedes-Benz. There's several consulting firms. And so definitely if you want to go into the business area, there's a vast opportunity as far as internship. We also are a healthcare leader. And so there is a university hospital, pediatric hospital right on campus, but throughout the city of Atlanta, there are Emory hospitals. So if you wanted to do anything in the healthcare field, there is ample opportunity. Also, Atlanta is a leader in nonprofit work. So if you're interested in nonprofit work, there are limitless opportunities. And then Atlanta is a leading producer of film and media production in the country right now. So definitely, if you are a rising star and you want to be in the movies, you want to write, you want to be part of the film industry, there are ample opportunities. And there are numerous other things that students can do. We're talking about the historic part of Atlanta, with it being the home of Martin Luther King Jr., the founding place of the civil rights movement, and numerous other great things that are going on. So I personally feel that it's a grave injustice for any student to come to Atlanta and not take advantage of all the opportunities that it has to offer. Now, of course, we have plenty of research. We are a Research One university, and roughly about 55% of students participate in some form of research. And this research not only takes place in the natural sciences and laboratories, as you see here, but also throughout the city of Atlanta. We have an art history museum on campus. So we definitely, want students to pursue those opportunities if that is something that they would like to do. Also, we have a true kind of volunteer and community spirit, and over 80% of students participate in our community service, Volunteer Emory, in which is our largest club or organization. So getting students involved, active, we have over 400 clubs or organizations, is at the core fabric of the university. Diversity is something that's very, very important to us. So we're number 4 as far as socioeconomic diversity. I'll talk a little bit about financial aid in a second, but also quality of life. And we are one of the most diverse universities in the country. And so, when we speak of diversity, we're not only talking about, racial and ethnic and gender, we're talking about all aspects of diversity. So we're very excited. We have students from all 50 states. We have students from over 150 countries around the world. There are 85 first languages spoken. And so diversity presents itself in all kinds of ways at the Emory campus. And so we want students to embrace this diversity, to know when you come to the classroom, more than likely the person you're sitting next to will not be from the same state, maybe not from the same country, might not speak the same language, maybe a different religion, maybe have a different political affiliation, like, a different, team, or any number of things. And so these differences is where we think true education takes place. And we want students to really lean into that diversity of thought, of experience when they come. This is a beautiful place on our campus called Lawwater. It is a green space on campus where students definitely have the opportunity to have some green space. I said we're not in the city, but you definitely have that opportunity. We do meet 100% of financial aid needs. So any students that have financial need, we're going to try and make sure to provide all the money we can. This is my contact information. I'll definitely put this in the chat so it's available to students. I'm the representative for the entire state of Illinois. So I definitely encourage you to reach out to me, and I hope to see you all soon. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for your presentation, Emory University. As a reminder to our participants, if you guys have questions for any of the colleges you are seeing today, definitely don't hesitate to drop those into the Q&A down below. Up next, we have Gettysburg College.
My hands were already working and I already muted myself. So I'm Daryl Jones, our Senior Associate Director of Admissions at Gettysburg College. Up until October, I was a resident of Evanston, just 10 blocks north of Howard. So Chicago, I miss you. I join my colleagues in saying we are looking forward to seeing you there. So Gettysburg College is a place that I want you to imagine a couple of things. First, imagine a place that in 1832, we were founded by two abolitionists who happened to be Caucasian, which made our talk of inclusion part of our founding. So yes, we all have a long way to go, but that's where we started. And I want you to imagine having the very best in music, because Gettysburg College is one of fewer than 10 colleges of liberal arts and sciences with a music conservatory. And you can either be in part of our great music program as a major, or you can just be talented at it. Rock, jazz, all sorts of things, classical, gospel, it's all a part of the conservatory. And I want you to imagine being so ingrained in public policy and perhaps in social justice that through our Eisenhower Institute, you can walk across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in our Inside Civil Rights program and walk across it with people who survived that march the first time. That is Gettysburg College. So I'm going to do a quick screen share and we'll do a quick presentation, and then, just as is the case with my colleagues, certainly we want you to ask any and all questions of us that you might have. So this is Gettysburg, and for whatever reason it is, all sorts of colleges and universities really love to show an aerial view of their campuses. So that's ours. And here are a couple of things about us that I want you to know. First, at the back end of the campus is a national park. That's the Gettysburg Battlefield. But 3 blocks south of campus is a town, so we're in a small town, but we attract more than 3 million visitors a year because of our historic fame. So when you think about Gettysburg College and our 2,600 students, a couple of distinctive things. Like many institutions, or a few compared to the most, we do have an honor code. So that means, just as is the case with my colleague from Davidson, you are never proctored during an exam. That's from your very first quiz as a first-year student to our last final. And here's how it plays out socially. Now, I want you to understand that living just north of Chicago and now living close to DC, I will never do this, but students repeatedly trust each other so much that they save their spots by putting their phones, their wallets, and their keys down. That's not me, and probably not you, but I want you to understand the extent to which trust happens. We are a place that believes that you should explore and understand that exploration is sometimes better than knowing what you must do, what you have to do. We're about saying, if you find what you're good at doing and you love whatever that thing is, you'll find a major or a double major or a major with a minor or something else. We do believe heavily in research on Gettysburg's campus. I want to give you a distinguishing factor. After the first year, so you're only a teenager, if you are part of, let's say, our cross-disciplinary science institute, Not only do we pay you a stipend, but we also pay for your housing so nothing comes out of that stipend. And you're doing direct research with a faculty member. And like many institutions, the research takes place everywhere. At Gettysburg, it's not a special privilege, it's an expectation. We're all going to have time as you get to know us, because we're a platinum partner, in talking about career outcomes, graduate school outcomes, med school outcomes. Please know that Chicago Scholars only has our colleagues on the screen because we all take good care of you. I have this picture because it's my admissions office, which I took March 13th of 2020, which was the day that we were kicked out of here. So here's what counts. We want you to understand that we've been test optional since 2007. So what you do as a student over the long haul, your immersion and involvement with Chicago Scholars, your involvement with this visit, and the fact that you will have interviews both with us at other times and at on-site, your personal statement, your recommendations, they all matter to us. So you're going to hear the phrase holistic often used to describe how we do admissions. I'm going to call it human, meaning everything about you matters. I'm showing this map just quickly to say that now that I live in Washington, D.C.'s suburbs and commute to Gettysburg daily, that's how you get in and out of here. So we're near some of the most powerful cities in the Northeast for career immersion, for entertainment, for anything dealing with an extension of your lives outside of the classroom. So what I want you to know is this, and I'm speaking for all of us. We care about you. We love Chicago Scholars. All of us love Chicago Scholars. I will drop my information into the chat on first generation support, multicultural engagement by email. But I want to thank all of you for staying committed to Chicago Scholars. We know the past year was tough, but I'm speaking for myself and all of my colleagues when I say we love the fact that you're hanging in there, and it is our pleasure to spend a little time with you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you for that presentation, Gettysburg. We will have an adjustment in our programming today, and we will actually be moving on to Illinois Institute of Technology.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Will. I'm from the Illinois Institute of Technology, and I'm excited to talk with you a little bit today about a school right here in your backyard. I apologize, I wasn't quite ready to go there. I didn't realize I was on the timer, so give me just a second. As I said, Illinois Tech, you can guess from our name, STEM is what we do at our university. We're home to about 45 different majors in everything from everything from engineering to computer science, architecture, your traditional lab sciences, as well as opportunities to blend all of those programs together in something like the human sciences, where we do behavioral health and wellness, and we encourage people to live healthier, better lives by using the technology, or digital humanities, where we look at how everything's changed as more and more computers get involved. So you look at, art, media through a new lens as there's more and more technology for us to use every day. We are a small school. If you don't know us, that's okay. We want you to come visit us and see the small community that you could be a part of just a few miles from where you live. And one of the things that you're going to find at Illinois Tech is you will find a community of many different folks. Lots of people from the Chicago area, yes, but also people from all 50 US states, over 80 different countries. And it's really focused on getting you connected to the community that you want to be a part of. Maybe that's the engineers, maybe that's our video gamers, maybe that's an athletic team, whatever might be important for you. Some other things that I want to point out to you at Illinois Tech: close relationships with your faculty. We want you to get to know them. We want you to see them not just as the teacher in the classroom or the researcher in a lab, but really somebody who's there as a resource for you, who's going to help you from day one all the way through graduation and think about, what is it that I want to do? And what experiences do I need to have both in and out of the classroom that's going to help me stand out? That's, again, something that you'll find at our university. You've heard the importance of it tonight. We know you want to do research. We know you want to get involved. We know you want those hands-on experiences. And at a STEM school like us, you're absolutely going to get those. Some of the different ways that you'll find that at Illinois Tech is through undergraduate research programs available in those fields like engineering, some of those biologies, chemistries, but also in things like business or psychology-based research. We also have a very strong food science program. So if you want to jump into some research projects about how healthy red raspberries are, something we're doing right now on campus at Illinois Tech. Another way that we guarantee a hands-on experience for you is through interprofessional projects. These are year-long problem-solving courses that you get to do over the course of your time at Illinois Tech, giving back to the community through different types of work in neighborhood community organizations, working with large multinational corporations. These are all things that can be a part of an iPro. Lastly on this slide is we do have opportunities for you to leave Illinois Tech and leave Chicago, actually. We want you to explore the whole world that exists. And so helping you to elevate your experience through things like study abroad, internships, co-ops, all about getting you off campus and knowing that there's more to be seen than just Illinois Tech. Now, it's not 100% academic, though I will say IIT is a place where you're going to find a lot of people who love their academics, and hopefully that's you if you come to the university. But we do want you to also be a well-rounded student. We want you to think about clubs and organizations that you can be a part of. We want you to find something new that you maybe didn't know you love. And so you'll find those clubs and organizations are available. You'll find ways to be competitive through NCAA athletics or a esports team that competes and is helping the city of Chicago actually to design a esports arena just a few blocks from our campus. So lots of ways you can get involved. And we are a residential campus. We do encourage our students to live on campus as much as possible at the university, but we don't require it. We know you're right in the backyard. And we know that for some of you, it may be easier to stay at home and then hop on the train. You do have a full access to the CTA system as part of your student ID and your tuition and fees. So totally an option as well. What you see on the residence hall right there is one of those, see on the screen is one of those residence halls. That's Row Village. In addition to this, we are actually in the process of opening another brand new building this fall at Illinois Tech. And we have one that just opened last year. So great time to be coming and thinking about joining the community here. In terms of the application process, try to make it as simple as we can for students. Again, holistic review. We want you to really tell us who you are. We want to see what you've done. We want to see what you're passionate about. And we want to see how you're going to fit into the community at Illinois Tech. Biggest thing to know is that when you apply, you are automatically considered for scholarships. Every single student who is admitted to Illinois Tech receives some level of scholarship support from us. That could range from anywhere between 15 to 20,000 all the way up to full tuition scholarships. And in a few cases, all the way beyond that into full tuition and housing opportunities as well. So definitely in your best interest to apply early and you'll get considered for all of those awards. Some other things to know about our university as I wrap up is just that we are a place where you're going to have a strong return on investment. IIT is a place where you're going to be able to see the benefit of your education. You'll see that through our job placement data. You'll see that through some of those salaries and success data. But most importantly, you'll see that through the work that you get to do. You'll get to see your growth over your time at Illinois Tech. Maybe you come in knowing just the basics of computer programming. By the time you leave, you've launched your own app and now you're running your own business. That's a future that could definitely exist for you at the university. So please come visit and see yourself at Illinois Tech.
Thank you for that presentation, Illinois Tech. Looks like we do have about 5 or so more minutes in our programming today. So we are actually going to move forward with a quick Q&A for everybody. So give me a second to share my screen. I'm going to have my fellow colleagues that have been presenting this afternoon answer the question, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we will go in presentation order. So we will start with Illinois College.
It's a great question. I would encourage you to use kind of a fisherman's term, which is to cast a wide net. Look at lots of schools, close and far, schools you've heard of, and those you have not heard of. Don't do what your friends are going to do necessarily. Choosing a college is a really big decision, and you want to choose the place which is right for you. So don't just think about name recognition. Think about this quickly. The college you might end up going to perhaps is a school you haven't even heard of yet. So keep an open mind through the process, certainly.
Davidson College.
Definitely echo all of that, but I would also say that as you're going through this process, one, don't be afraid to ask questions. I hope the sense that you've gotten from all of us that have spoken today is that we're pretty friendly people. We like to do this work because we like to talk to students. And I know it can seem overwhelming to reach out with an email with questions. Do it. We will be happy to connect with you. And so definitely take advantage of that. Especially, I know some of you might be the first in your family to be going to college. And so this all seems new and overwhelming and you don't know where to start. It's okay to let us know that, to say, hey, I have this question, but I have a lot of questions, like we want to talk to you. So I hope you hear that. And I hope you you stay in touch, not just with us, but other colleges that you may also be considering.
Emory University.
I'll be quick. Meet all deadlines. Create an Excel form, a notebook, some organization system to make sure that you adhere to all deadlines, both admission and financial aid, because in many instances they are different.
Gettysburg College.
Yeah, first, thanks to my colleagues for sharing that advice. And mine is take advantage of all the sets of experts that you have. That's Chicago Scholars. That's your school counselors. That's the financial aid experts at our colleges and universities. And of course, all of us who will be reading your applications. I will echo what you heard and make it more pointed. We actually publicly admit to liking teenagers, so you'll be fine with us.
Illinois Institute of Tech.
Awesome. Well, those were a lot of great advice. So at the end, I guess one thing I will say is I encourage you to visit as many campuses as you can, especially as things start to open back up and you get a chance to travel. If you can do that, definitely do that. I had never thought of the school that I went to ultimately, but once I visited and saw the campus, I fell in love. So maybe that will happen for you as well.
Thank you everyone for those wonderful pieces of advice. We do have time for one more question. So we'll go with, what is your favorite event or tradition on your campus? And I'll turn it back over to Illinois College.
Well, I'm going to be really honest with you guys. I'm new to the college, so I do not yet have a favorite tradition on our campus. So that is TBA for me at Illinois College. So sorry.
Davidson.
I will share with you the very first tradition that students get to see and participate in. Happens the first week of campus. All of our first year students are invited to participate in something we have called the cake race, which is exactly what those two words imply. It is a race, less than a 2-mile run through campus and town. And it's called a cake race because historically the top runners, their prize would be a homemade cake that someone in the town of Davidson baked. And you can run it, walk it, just go on and cheer your classmates, but it's for the first year students. And it's a fun, cheesy way of telling you that it's not just our students and faculty and staff that are excited to welcome you to campus. It's really the entire town of Davidson. So like I said, happens first week of campus, very first tradition that students get to participate in.
Emory University.
Yes, I just dropped it in the chat. It is Dooley. Dooley is a skeleton that wanders our campus. There's an entire week that is dedicated towards Dooley's Miss role called Dooley's Week. We are looking forward to getting back to that. You can watch that video to get a sense of it, but it is a very fun tradition at Emory University.
Gettysburg.
And I just dropped a link to our traditions in the chat, but my favorite one occurs about 2 weeks before actual Thanksgiving, when we bring you all in groups of 8 or 10. And your servers are the president, all the upper level deans, faculty members, chairs of departments, secretaries. We want you to relax and be served by us to show you that we appreciate you. Plus, it's all you can eat.
And Illinois Institute of Tech.
Well, that one is a great segue into mine as well. Mine's about food. One of my favorite things to do is eat. So at Illinois Tech, we have an event where it's called Taste of Illinois Tech. We get a chance to learn about different cultures, learn about different religious backgrounds and organizations by way of food. So you get to walk around and get little nibbles of everything and some great facts to go along with it.
Wonderful. Thank you everyone for sharing those. Hopefully our participants are getting more excited to start scheduling visits and asking more questions. I will go ahead and wrap up our session. So thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. When you do close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey, and we would definitely appreciate any feedback you can provide to us. And like I mentioned earlier on, this is just one of many sessions happening. There are more over the next 2 hours, so definitely go check out some more colleges. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording at the same site where you registered. Again, thank you everyone for joining us, and have a great afternoon.
Take care, everyone.